Oh, hi guys, it's me again, KOOL. What's up? What's up? What's up, y'all? Well, yesterday we spoke about how Aaron Carter passed away. This is what his brother's written today, which I thought was pretty good, considering they had a really bad relationship. So his heart is broken, even though my brother and I have had a complicated relationship. Complicated? You mean torrid? My love for him has never faded. I have always held onto the hope that he would somehow, someday, want to walk a healthy path and eventually find the help that he so desperately needed. Sometimes we want to blame someone or something for a loss, but the truth is that addiction and mental illness is the real villain here. I will miss my brother more than anyone will ever know. I love you, Chiz. Now you can finally have the peace you could never find on earth. I love you, brother. If you didn't know all the background, you'd think that's a pretty nice thing that he's written. But let's get into what I used to look at all those years ago when I made my first ever YouTube videos about Aaron Carter. This is the stuff he was saying. And I used to think, yeah, I know he's on a lot of drugs and all the rest of it, but maybe it's true. Did anyone see one of his last posts though? I'm not talking about Britney in this video. It's you know, it's kind of creepy if you ask me. Butterflies, and then you go over to Britney. Oh, do you like my new butterfly shirt? I don't know, just things like that weird me out a bit. Coincidence? But could it be? I don't know. I just don't bloody know. But I did find out yesterday that one of my buddies told me that Crowdsurf run Nick Carter's, Aaron's brother, who Aaron hated, like runs their PR. So from the news reports today, we've found out that many cans were found in the bathroom and the bedroom. I'd like to see photos, but anyway, you'll see this article I've put up in the background. It is all about huffing. And a lot of people keep on saying it's NOS and all of that. Nah, it's not bulbs. It's not nitrous oxide. That's a whole different ball game. Huffing is way worse because it's inhalants that you put in paint, varnish, all the real hardcore stuff. And if you pause and read a little bit of this article, it actually says that long-term use affects your heart and its rhythm. And they say that when they're trying to take people off it, they actually put them on beta blockers to help with their heart rhythm. So I know he was trying to get off it, and I know he was going to some outpatient rehab. So he's obviously been cutting it down. And they always say when someone ODs, it's always when they've come out of rehab or they're trying to cut it down or something like that on their own or in rehab. They come out and they have a hit like they used to, and it's too much. It's too much for their body. So maybe that happened. But we all know in the last 2 months that he was doing it because he was caught on a few streams. He thought no one was watching, and you could hear him doing it. It's really sad to be addicted to such a toxic chemical, and it obviously messed his thought process up. But still, he did feel very attacked by his family, and that people were going to knock him off his perch. That could have just all been 100% paranoia, or there could have been an ounce of truth. I don't know. I'm just guessing. I'm just putting out the stuff I know, and I'm not a conspirator. I just think there's a lot of things that add up in this story. Was he always paranoid someone was going to knock him off his perch, or did it only begin when he started talking about the industry? That's the question I have, because you'll see in a video that's coming up when he's talking about how Sony wants to knock him off, blah, blah, blah. It's from 3 years ago. He looks a lot healthier. And that's when he actually did. I think he got out of rehab in like 2017, his fifth rehab. And yeah, he looked a lot healthier. But he just started going back downhill again. And probably having, a new baby and a soon-to-be wife that was just as toxic as him, just really affected the whole sitch. And it's really sad that no one could be there for him. His whole family had given up, bar his mum. But the sad thing about his mum is she was actually an alcoholic. So, yeah, it's a sad, sad story of addiction.
So this is what's happening to me. So very, 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 very bad situation. I keep telling you guys that, and that's because I'm being silenced because my brother is, and they're coming after me because of it. So that's basically the deal. So I pray that, you know, this gets better. I'm getting the hell out of here. So I want no part of this at all. None. Zero part of this at all. Nothing to do with it. I want nothing to do with this. I want out. So, yeah, that's complete proof that they are doing what they're doing. So now they got caught.
This is how I first came across Aaron back in the day. And I was like, oh shit, that little child star's lost his marbles. He used to do this type of stuff on Insta every night. And he'd just dance and say crazy shit. And yeah, it was out there. But what I'm going to get into now is the real dark stuff. Aaron feared for his life immensely. And this would have been 2019 that he just kept talking about it. And that's when Nick, the big brother, got the restraining order. So we couldn't keep saying that his brother was a RAPE dude. And how they're out to get him and they're going to take him out because he's talking the truth. I kind of feel that's how Kanye, he keeps on saying he's a truth seeker, truth speaker. And he's talking to them about how they're trying to set him up to, unalive him. So he had security cameras everywhere. He was mega paranoid. And whether he was paranoid for a good reason or paranoid because he was paranoid, I don't bloody know. Yesterday, when I woke up, it had only been out for an hour that Aaron had passed. And I kept reading articles that he'd drowned in the pool. And then next minute, it just changed that, no, it was in his bathtub. Now, that's very weird, isn't it? How can you have such conflicting reports? There's quite a few. You can go and search them on Google, but here's a couple talking about how it was in the pool. Now, there's an interview with a neighbor who said she heard blood-curdling screaming. So she ran across. Obviously, everyone in the street knows Aaron and what he's up to. So she grabbed her medical bag, defibrillating machine, and knocked on the door. And the maid answered, this black homeless woman that Aaron's had for 2 weeks or whatever. And she's like, let me in. She's like, Aaron's dead. And she's like, let me in. She wouldn't let her in. Why wouldn't she let her in? Like, to me, that is very suspect. Because if there's a chance that someone can help, then you'd let him in. But even if they had passed, you'd still let him in, wouldn't you? So he probably was in the pool. And he probably, was knocked off his perch like everyone else that seems to talk about, I don't even want to say their name. But I'm not someone they want to knock off their perch because I'm not earning money for them. I'm not taking money from them. But it's just very, very odd. And he still was talking about it right up until the end. He didn't talk about it as much in the last, say, year. But here's just a little bit of what he said recently.
I'm afraid for my life. Anybody else have neighbors from hell, or am I the only one too? Of course she's hurt. I just told you she got a $14,000 surgery. Something really weird and terrible happened to her, and nothing's ever. That's my baby. That's my mom's. Nala goes with you guys. See, I travel on tour with my children, my pets, my animals. They're my children. They're all I have. I don't have friends. I don't go out. I definitely do not injure animals. My animals love me, and you know this, man. And seem to know every move. even when I go for a shit. Yeah, what's up, girl? I saw you. I know you. I saw your long messages. I got those. They don't deserve an explanation, sweetheart. None of them do. No, they don't. And that's why I'm just moving. So, very sad. It is a very sad situation. It's horrible. And, my property is completely secluded. These neighbors have been the scariest, worst people. I was threatened by them, by a gang. She told me she was in a gang called M3, a female gang, and to look her up. Got into my fiance's face many times trying to fight her, took her shoes off to try to fight her on 4th of July. I have whole videos of it and everything. So I recorded everything. So, but still, here's the thing. I never retaliated. So,
I mean, he's complaining about the neighbors from hell. He reckons he's got neighbors from hell and they all want to hurt him. I reckon he would have been the neighbor from hell because they're just living out in Lancaster, which is what, an hour and a half from LA. So it's probably very suburban. And for him to come to your street, that would be a shock to your system. Well, he claims that they hurt his dog Nala. He's got a little pug. And that's what he's talking about, the 13K operation. And by the way, psycho neighbors do hurt animals to get at owners. It happened to me. It happened to Otis, my little darling Otis. I had a psychopathic neighbor who used to say, oh, if your cat gets in my yard, I'm going to deal with him. And I'll be like, oh, he won't get your yard. He's too fat to jump over the fence anyway. But anyway, one day he apparently jumped over the fence, which I was quite surprised because he was too fat to do so. But anyway, he was kicked severely with a steel cap boot on and he lost his back leg. It was shattered into 100 pieces. And the vets were like, yeah, he's been kicked down the stairs. He broke his pelvis in 3 places and the psycho broke his tail in half, like bent like an aerial. So there's some real sick, twisted individuals out there. And after that happened, I mean, we were in intensive care with Otis for days. And then when I came back, I was like, I'm going to go and bloody get the cops to confront that dude. Well, what, do you reckon he was there? Nah, he'd moved out. So he'd obviously planned it. And there's obviously some sick mother effers in this world. But that's just my story. So I do believe Aaron when he says psycho neighbors hurt his dog. Because, yeah, it happens. I wasn't a psycho neighbor, by the way, just to let everyone know. It was actually the girls that lived above me. They had 2 cats, and they were a lesbian couple. And this guy absolutely detested them because he was a freaking, caveman. And their cats used to get out all the time and hide under his house, and he hated it. So I think the day he confronted me, he thought I was one of them. Because I told them, and they were like, oh, yeah, no, he does that to us all the time. Threatens us. So obviously that's how that occurred. But anyway, let's keep moving. But yeah, he seems to be pretty scared of everybody. Neighbors, family, Star Whackers, Sony, everybody. But then he'll let a homeless lady from Africa come and live with him to be his maid. Like, what's up with that? I don't understand, man. It's like they've put a spell on him because for someone that is as paranoid as him, why would he allow that? And where are all his buddies? Like, the more you look into this, the weirder it gets. And I know he was a very, very disliked person on social media because all he'd do every day was fight with people. And he had arrogance to the moon and back. He was not humble. He really wasn't. He was the opposite of humble. He was constantly flexing his chains, talking about how he's the greatest artist. Like his ego was off the charts. Because sit down, be humble. Anyway, that's just, I just used to say that's just a result of being a child star from 7 years old. Like they all turn out different with wacky problems. That was his. And he was addicted to things. And he said, in his own words, he had bipolar. So the reports yesterday, that's what really got to me. One report saying that he was in the bathtub and they found prescription meds. The other one, he's in a pool And the neighbor called 911 because they saw him in the pool floating. His last tweet to Kanye, everyone's wigging out because he says, yo, bro, hit me up. Let's have a chat man to man. Now, he was just on the No Jumper podcast 3 days previous, and he was talking about Kanye, saying he used to be like Kanye and be wild and angry and all of that, but he says he's calmed down a lot. He's acting more chill now, not getting as worked up. And I think that's why he wanted to talk to Kanye, because he's like, man, look at me. I've lost the custody of my son because I'm crazy. So I think he wanted to say the same thing to Kanye, like, dude, calm down. You don't want to lose the custody. It's the worst thing ever. I'm just guessing. Blue, go and look at the No Jumper podcast. He is talking about Kanye. That one to me wasn't a biggie. That's why I haven't delved into it. But a lot of the other stuff, they're biggies because I don't understand.
Hey, everybody out there. This is Aaron Carter. I want to verify that this is actually my GoFundMe page. There's been a lot of misdirection that I've had to do in order to protect myself from being a silence breaker for my brother, who is a... And now they're after my life. My whole family is after my life. And they're setting me up. And Sony Records owes me $3.5 million. And they don't want to pay me. And it would be in their better interest, just like Michael told me. And Brad Paisley, who sued Sony Records for $10 million. They owe me money, and they're trying to kill me off. And I'm begging you and I'm pleading you, help me raise $100,000 as soon as I can so I can move to an undisclosed location where I am safe. My realtor won't sell my house. They're all involved in this, and they're trying to keep me there. They had cops come and check for a rope in my garage saying I wanted to hang myself. So please trust what I'm saying, and please donate the money.
Anyway, once again, rest in peace, Aaron. I hope you are in peace up there. But I think if something bad was done to you, I hope they also find out. Only in time we'll all find out, hey? And just remember, I ain't the news. A lot of people have attacked me in the comments saying how I get things wrong, blah, blah, blah. Well, I've never claimed to be the news. I can look into it just the way you can, and yeah, I can make mistakes. And I really appreciate the buddies that just correct me nicely. Because I mean, obviously, I stand corrected. It's like when I get something wrong, there's no reason to have a go at me. Just correct it. Because I ain't the news. I ain't called KOOL Fox 7, am I? So chill. And thanks to the guys that correct me nicely. I love you. So anyways, apparently I got his last live stream wrong. Sorry. This was his last live stream because he mainly streamed on TikTok. And he was doing quite well, and I think that he loved doing it due to the fact that he got so much love. But when he started getting hate, he'd feed into it. That was his downfall. But a lot of people loved him. He had a lot of fans, and he seemed to get a lot of cash money from doing all this. So it's just a sad story all around, to be honest. But this is the live stream. It's not that eventful, but he looks pretty happy, so I'm happy that he's gone out happy. That's all. I'm going to love you and leave you, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye. Oh, and by the way, YouTube's not monetizing my videos at the moment. If you feel in your heart you want to give me a shiny gold coin, please do. I would appreciate it immensely. Ooh, remember to let the good vibes in and the bad vibes out. You feel me? You dig? Cheers, ballers. How it feel? How it feel? Feels so real. How it feel? How it feel? How it feel? And that feels so real. How it